Ahoy guys and welcome back to I Like Hot Watches 2. San Martin don't seem to be slowing down, do they? They're releasing more new watches onto AliExpress than ever before, and they've sent me another couple to unbox and show you guys. So in this video I'm going to unbox one and share with you my very brief first impressions. The other one I'm going to unbox and basically review it, so you'll see it in a lot more detail. Right, let's crack on. Now the first watch I want to briefly show you, because I am going to come back and produce a full review of this watch in the future on I Like Watches, because it does look pretty special. This is the SN0088G-2. It is a Homage watch. I'm sure it looks very, very familiar to most of you. You can pick this watch up for $234 US, 250 euros, 219 British pounds. It contains the Epson YN55A automatic movement, which beats at 21,600 beats per hour. It hacks and hand winds, and there is only one option. It is this green dial and green ceramic bezel insert option. You never know, they might add more in the future. And there it is on my 7.25-inch-ish wrist. This might be one of those watches where the bracelet actually ends up being one of the standout features. The dial and the insert are quite a dark green. I thought it would be more obvious. It's probably the lighting in my light box. I'm sure that colour will come through much better when the watch is outside. Now that's interesting. Each one of these links is actually 9 separate pieces put together. I guess that's how they've managed to make the divide between the polished and the brushed surfaces so crisp. There's certainly quite a bit going on with the dial and the hands as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to producing the full review on this one, which will go live on I Like Watches fairly soon. Let's now move on to watch number 2, which I'm going to show you in a little bit more detail. This is the SN0026-G-C. This is a newer version of a watch they've already made. This is basically a GMT watch, but they've made quite a few changes. It has a different bracelet, different clasp, and it's fairly original in design actually. The first one, I think, has proven to be probably their most popular, fairly original-ish in design watch. This one can be had for $357 US, that's 381 euros, 335 British pounds. It contains the Hangzhou 6460 GMT movement, beating at 28,800 beats per hour. It hacks and hand winds. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is not your super budget, cheap, affordable GMT movement. It is a clone of an ETA 2800 series movement. It is not the super cheap and affordable GMT movement you'll often find in the cheaper and more affordable AliExpress GMT watches. And at the moment, this one's only available in this colour, but you can have it signed or sterile. Well, that looks pretty good on the time grapher. Roughly +7, +8 seconds a day. Decent amplitude, good beat error. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, I suspect the dimensions are the same as they are on the original non-GMT watch. Roughly 40mm in diameter, 11.4mm thick, just under 47mm in length, 20mm lug width, and the bracelet tapers down to just over 17.5. Unfortunately, I still don't have a working diamond selector 2, but according to the specifications on AliExpress, the crystal is a flat piece of sapphire with an internal AR coating. I'm not seeing a blue hue, so I suspect it is a clear AR coating. Right, let's give you the weight adjusted for my 7.25-inch-ish wrist. I really don't want to scratch this bracelet. 152 grams. The caseback is a screwed down caseback. The flat surface is brushed. That beveled edge around the outside look is polished. The crown is signed with the San Martin hexagonal logo. It is a screw down crown, giving the watch 100 meters of water resistance. It appears to be the same case that's used on the non-GMT version. Those screws on the bezel are for decorative purposes only. I did try to undo them on my other watch, and yeah, they don't budge, and as you can see, you know, they're all facing in the corners, which is a good indicator as well that they are not real, that they are for decorative purposes, as you would expect from San Martin. The polishing and the brushing seems very, very nice. The transitions are very, very good. A fairly short, stubby case, a decent amount of weight in it. It feels like a quality watch. Again, as you'd expect from San Martin, their tolerances and fit and finish is always very, very good. The bracelet is also very nice and interesting. It's a bit of a fingerprint magnet there. Look, those center links are fully polished. Solid end links, solid links and screw pins. You do have some high polished chamfered edges running the length of the bracelet as well. A beautiful H-link bracelet. Let me get those thumbprints off. There we go, that's much better. You can now see the contrasting polished rectangular center links and those brushed H-links. The clasp is a butterfly clasp. It feels solid and well engineered. The tolerances feel good as well. I'm not seeing any signature or logo on it, nor am I seeing any half links or any method to adjust it more finely, other than replacing and removing full links. Right, let's check out the loom. I suspect it's pretty good. The indices and numbers on the dial are applied, so they will be infilled with loom. Yeah, it looks pretty good. BGW9, loom on the minute and the hour and the GMT hand. No loom on the seconds hand. But yeah, the strength of the loom seems to be fairly even between the hands and the applied indices. Nice. Right, I zoomed in a bit so we can have a good look at this dial. It looks very nicely done actually, and I really like the GMT hand. Short and stubby and red, nice and bright. You've got a matching red tip to the seconds hand. Interesting counterbalance, plenty of length on the hands as well. The hour and the minute hands seem to have a mix of polished surfaces on the outside. Look, you can see that hour hand glinting, and then the flat center surface which surrounds the loom is brushed. Right, I've lined up the three hands, so hopefully we can see how accurately they have been aligned at the 12 o'clock position. Here we go. Well, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, let's quickly run through some strengths then. Firstly, build quality. I mention it every single time I hold a San Martin watch, but they really do make the best finished watches on AliExpress as far as I'm concerned. In particular, their steel finishing is incredible. This one's also fairly original in design. Yes, there are elements on this watch that look familiar and could be attributed to other brands and other watches, but I think the general consensus is it's fairly original. I also like the fact they've mixed it up and put a different bracelet on it. I do like the bracelet. It's well made, beautifully finished, definitely a little bit different, and makes this watch, I think, stand out a bit more than it would if it had the original bracelet that was on the original watch. I think they've done the conversion to a GMT watch very, very nicely. I really do like that red hand. It contrasts really well with that dial. And yeah, it's a beautiful size, beautiful length. Yeah, I think they've done a good job. Well, I think it was a good move turning this into a GMT. There's been a lot of focus recently on affordable GMT watches with the release of the Seiko 5KX GMT, housing the NH34. Unfortunately, this watch doesn't house that movement. It has the Hangzhou 6460 movement inside. But they've done a good job of the conversion. I like the short, stubby, red GMT hand. It matches the GMT lettering above the 6 and the tip of the seconds hand. I also like the fact that they've changed the bracelet. The original one had a sort of beads of rice bracelet. Not a fan of beads of rice bracelets. It was beautifully done, just like this one. But yeah, I definitely prefer these H-style links. High polished center links. They might scratch up a little bit, and I think the butterfly clasp would benefit from finer adjustment, you know, that ability to make it a little bit bigger or smaller, because at the moment it's only full links that can be removed or replaced. But yeah, it's definitely a more interesting watch to look at. But let me know in the comment section, guys, which one would you have, this one or the new Seiko 5KX GMT? Price wise, they're roughly the same, aren't they? In fact, this one might be a little bit cheaper. But yeah, let me know, guys, which one would you have? All right, as always, massive thank you from me to you for watching. I do appreciate it. Take care, guys. Look after yourselves. You'll see me again very, very soon.